Hello, everybody. I'm Eddie Stone. We're live. It's Thursday, and so nice to have a chance to be with you today, or I should say this afternoon. And we are joined by Mr. Nick Troutman. For those of you that have been around with us for a while, Nick is one of our brand ambassadors, and we're so proud to have this opportunity to work with him. He's going to be our special guest today, and this is going to give us a chance to learn a little bit more about Nick. But also more about how someone that's a world champion athlete, Olympic level person that knows fitness, knows exercise, knows nutrition, but also the mental game of competing and staying ready. So we're going to get to know Nick a little bit. Just so you can know a little of his background, Nick is married to Emily and has two wonderful children. And so he's much more than just a world champion kayaker. He's a dad and a husband, and he's sort of weighing out all these same things the rest of us are as we find ourselves in this sort of holding pattern of life. I don't know if that's maybe one way we can kind of think about it. So Nick, welcome to our broadcast.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Eddie, for having me.
Yeah. Hey, listen, first, congratulations on all your success. For those that haven't had a chance to dive into it, I encourage you to go over to Nick's Instagram account. You can also look at his Facebook account, but he is kayaker extraordinaire. He's a global ambassador for GoPro and several other large multinational brands, and just does some really great stuff. I have to say, Nick, I'm enamored with all of the videos and the daredevil aspect. I think you described yourself as an adrenaline junkie or addicted to adventure. Yeah. And so I'm excited about that. So, hey, first things first, how are you? How's the family?
We're all doing really well. We're here at home, like, most everybody else in the country, and doing well. So taking this time to kind of just reconnect here at home and spend a lot of time with the family in close proximity, which is great. Nothing different from us, being that we spend most of the time in an RV together on the road. So it's good.
A couple of years ago, Maria and the kids and we had a chance to go out to Colorado and see Nick at the GoPro games. And he's describing it perfectly. There he was with the family in tow. He wasn't just competing, but so was Emily. And we saw the kids around. So it was great to see that. Now, I know for you, this time of year, actually starting a month or so ago, you're out there traveling the western part of the United States up into Canada, going to these rivers, going to these competitions. What are you doing with yourself right now?
Yeah, usually we're kind of on the road, traveling around, competing, paddling, training, all that kind of stuff. And being that, everything's been shut down, the events are all canceled. We came back home, and honestly, I've just used this time almost as trying to be as positive as I can with it, and thinking of it as an opportunity in some ways, with the fact that I've got a lot of free time on my hands that I usually don't have. So usually my schedule is like jam packed, and that's like every hour, every day, every week. With whether it's training, competing, all sorts of different things. And now I'm just taking the opportunity to spend more time with the kids, be productive with my partners, with work stuff as well, getting some computer work done. And then also just taking this time to really focus on fitness and training. I mean, I've been able to kind of build similar to you in your home gym there. I've been able to make a home gym here at home. With very minimal actual, weights and stuff like that. It's nothing super complex. And just really focusing on fitness and on family, and just, on probably personal health too, whether it means just, staying positive, doing a lot of reading. And it's in a lot of ways, it's a bummer that we're not doing what, we were scheduled to do. And as everybody knows, we would all love to be kind of going back to our normal lives a couple months ago, but in other ways, just really taking it as an opportunity to grow in a lot of other aspects, where it's like, okay, with all this extra time or with this opportunity, how could I better myself in in all sorts of ways. How can I better my marriage? How can I better my time being as a father? How can I better my fitness as an athlete, and work with partners such as Touchstone and stuff like that. So I'm just trying to take the time to better myself, I guess.
Yeah, that's great. And I think that's really important. I recognize that sort of we're all globally in the same storm, but we're not necessarily in the same boat. And for those that have the ability to sort of mentally manage, still have the opportunity to do some productive work at home, to keep that idea of the fact that when you're dealing with something that's can be so devastating from a health standpoint, trying to sort of have yourself mentally prepared for whatever comes your way, as well as thinking about nutrition and physical activity, which we know makes a big difference with both immune system and respiratory health. I think it's critical. The one thing I've found is I talk to people, for some, they struggle with keeping, I don't know if motivation's exactly the right word, but they struggle with sort of not being weighed down by the weight of it all and sort of the unknown factor of, hey, when does it make sense for us as a society to sort of go back to what's probably a new normal? It's not the old normal. How do you, as someone that this time of year, you'd be competing at a world champion level, right? And where measurements are in hundredths of a second, or judges with 100 tenths or whatever happens to be in these differences. How do you keep yourself sort of mentally sharp as well as physically? Do you have any sort of tricks of the trade, so to speak?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll start off with saying I'm, just a normal human being like the rest of us. And so that when this whole thing started, I was also, scared like everybody else. Like, whoa, my gosh, what's going on? My mother-in-law, who lives just beside us, she's got autoimmune disorder, and we're like trying to figure out how to, keep the kind of whole family compound here healthy and lockdown, all that kind of stuff. And I quickly realized that I was putting a lot of stress on myself with the fact that, the whole coronavirus is, it can be disastrous in a lot of ways. And I mean, there are a lot of people out there that are getting sick and dying, which is horrible. But at the same time, I was just trying to figure out, okay, what can I do personally to that, like, besides what all the news is saying, what can I do personally right now? How can I take action right now? And so what I realized for myself, what that meant was, okay, I need to probably cut down on my news consumption. So I need to maybe not just be absorbed with what everybody is saying at all minutes of the day. Because I kind of was that when this first thing was going on, because I was also just trying to learn what was happening, right? The next thing I tried to figure out was, okay, two things. One, as an athlete and just, in general, I think it's good and important to stay physically active and healthy. And then two, just realizing that with this sickness, it's probably extra important now to be healthy and active. So I made that a priority, where it's like, okay, I'm going to be working out minimum twice a day for this whole time. So for me, that either means usually it's one cardio, one weights, or something like that, where either I'll go for a run or a bike or something like that, just around my block or around the yard. And then I'll do I've got in my home gym thing that I've kind of set up, I've got some battle ropes down, hooked up to a post. I've got a couple free weights in the basement. And then I've got a free hanging rope that I climb up to my deck up top. And a pegboard actually that I built out of just some 2x10. But so health and fitness was the next thing that I was really trying to focus on, as like, okay, that's another priority that I'm going to do, which helps me both as an athlete and to just, to stay physically healthy if I get coronavirus or any of that kind of thing. And then three, kind of going back to what I was saying earlier, but what can I do to kind of lower the stresses that are in my life? I don't know whether, actually, I mean, I do know in some ways the events are canceled. So in some ways, if I'm counting on that or hoping on that for, potential income, that's now going to be removed out of my life. So like a lot of other people, that might see income related stresses that are due to this whole virus, instead of just stressing and worrying about it, it's like, okay, well, what can I do? I can spend this time learning. I can be reading books. I can be taking courses online. I can be researching and just trying to, again, just advance myself personally. And so just trying to like really break it down to action items of like, okay, this is a horrible thing that's happening. There's a pandemic that's happening globally, whether you like it or not. We can't do anything about that right now. So what can we be doing? And how can we be bettering ourselves that way? And just trying to figure out, there's things that we can't do that are not in our control, and things that are in our control. And let's just focus on what's in our control right now.
I think that's brilliant. You know, during my life, sometimes the bigger the problem, right? It isn't so much how big a problem is, it's almost how much of your visual it takes up, right? It's sort of overwhelming. And what I've often found is helpful, whether it's personal or business, is to reduce it down to a piece of paper. This is a problem. Okay, what's problematic about it? You know, 2 or 3 bullet points, and just somehow by reducing the scale of it, I see it better. And when I look at this situation, you know, we have worried because we're a global company, right? So we are trying to manage distribution at the warehouse out of Europe and the US and into Asia. We've really tried to do that and think about, okay, what are the routines that we can maintain? And the ones we can't maintain, what's the workarounds for that? And I think that's true personally. I've got some experience working from home, so that's helped, but to try to think about, you know, okay, what routines can I hold on to? What ones aren't available? And, you know, kind of what's the workaround to get back to that same goal or objective? I read not too long ago, someone talking to people that had lived through years ago various situations. Maybe they were just their country or otherwise. And sort of the common comment that I see is that the genius of what we did was we didn't give up.
Right.
You know, we maintained our optimism and thought through the workarounds. It didn't mean somebody wasn't crying or upset, and there weren't moments where you were down, but it's, you know, really centering on just what you said about what you can control. So I'm going to ask you about your workout, but let me explain myself a little bit. So if you guys can kind of see behind me here, for years, Maria, and this is probably somewhat true, she's accused me of being a little bit of a hoarder because I struggle to throw things away. I've always had this sort of, I don't know if it's a doomsday scenario, but what if I can't get it back? And so we've got through multiple moves over the course of our 30-year marriage. I've been pulling around some athletic equipment, some weights from both high school and college. And so they were sort of buried in the basement. And when all this happened, I couldn't get to my gym. And I really need to go to the gym for the mental part of it. I need to sweat and get out of breath, and it just sort of eases my mind up a little bit. So we've cobbled some things together here. It's a little rusty, I'll admit, but it works, and I can come in here in the evening and get a little bit of a sweat. And I want people to do that no matter what you have. So Nick, if people have limited resources, do you have anything you might suggest about what they could do with, say, their body weight, or even if they're not terribly athletic, but just trying to do something to kind of get things moving, because we know movement matters?
Yeah, 100%. Just like you, I've also got some kind of sporadic workout equipment, just because I like, you know, to stay in shape, and I try to have different workout things that I can do to keep it kind of fresh and new. So I'm not just always doing the same old. So I've got, for myself here, I've got battle ropes that I can do some battle rope workouts. I've got some free weights for some free weights. I've got my climbing rope, my pegboard. But those are all things that, you know, I've acquired over the last year or so. If you don't have anything, there's still tons and tons of workouts to do. The easiest, go for a walk. I would say go for a run, but if that's too much for you, go for a walk. That's the easiest thing that nobody can say they can't do that, right?
Right.
Now, okay. So maybe somebody says, well, I'm in full quarantine and we're not even allowed to walk around the block. Okay, well, if that's the case, do you have a deck? Can you, I saw this thing online that somebody ran a marathon on their deck. They just they measured out the laps and they did laps on their deck. So figure out what you can do. Maybe you just walk around your house. Maybe you don't do that. Maybe you do a quick ab workout. I posted on my social media an ab workout the other day that it takes, I think, like 2 minutes to do it. All it is a couple sets of 10 of a couple different motions. And it doesn't take a whole lot of time. It doesn't take like, oh, I've got to go work out for an hour. If you've got the time and you've got the desire, and I mean, that's what I'm aiming for. I'm aiming for 45-minute workouts twice a day. But if that's too much time commitment for you, then maybe start with like a 2-minute ab workout and then be like, sweet, okay, that was good. And then maybe think of like, okay, maybe I'll go for a 5-minute walk around the house or walk around the property or walk down my street and back. And then just if it's too much for you and too much mentally, because the thing is, there's two aspects. There's the mental aspect and there's the physical aspect. If you're physically not able to do a whole lot of workouts, I would highly encourage you to get in shape and get to be physically able. And the easiest way to do that is to start off small. They always say, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. I'm vegan. I'm not eating an elephant, but the concept works. You know what I mean? Where
Yeah, that's right.
The whole thing, it's the same. How do you run a marathon? One step at a time. Maybe that's a better analogy, actually. But the whole thing is you just take it a little bit at a time. And then, so if you're able to, you know, if 5 minutes was easy, maybe the next day you do 10 minutes, maybe whatever. And then if you want to get more physical and you want to do more actives or more activities, there's, again, a million different things, especially right now, of YouTube videos, all these different things. Arnold Schwarzenegger posted his whole workout back when he was the world's strongest man. He did a whole fitness thing where all he did was working out at his home, and he posted it for free. And he's just like, here's my at-home workout when I was the world's fittest man. And so there is no excuse. So then it comes to the fact that it's all mental. And if it's mental, then, I mean, same kind of thing as physical. Take it slow and just try to ease into it if you need to, but do something, do anything, and just take it one step at a time.
I think that's the key right there. Do anything, do something, just find a way to stay engaged. It's funny you mentioned about the house. My dad is 78, and he told me he's got a configuration where he goes from his bedroom to his living room to his kitchen. He's created a lap, and if he does it 97 times, he's got himself a mile. So, you know, whatever it takes, right? You can figure it out. The other thing I'll mention here, and folks, before we close out, is Google or YouTube, I should say simple or beginner stretching. I mean, one of the things almost everyone I've ever met at an adult age can benefit from is stretching. And that doesn't have to mean you master yoga poses. It can be very, very simple things. But when you do that, you're moving around fluids in your muscles. You're creating some activity and movement that's beneficial. If that's where you have to start, that's okay. It's just important that you start. So, Nick, thank you for taking some time with us today. Glad to see you and the family are safe and healthy. And we'll look forward to when it comes around again that we can go and look at you in the water doing your thing.
Awesome. Thanks so much for having me, Eddie. And wish you guys all the health and happiness as well.
Thank you. Folks, listen, these are challenging times, and it really requires sort of everybody holding on to sort of their mental acuity and factors there. If we can help you, reach out to us. That's what we're here for. It's all about what we can pull together from a community standpoint. Go out there and make the most of this day that you can, whatever that is. And if currently you're not being physically active, we encourage you really to try to find a way. Until next time, I'm Eddie Stone. Thank you for being with me and Nick here in the garage. And we'll be talking to you again soon. Bye for now.